So Thick Nick was from K through 12.
You say Thick Nick?
Thick Nick. You know they called me TDN in high school, Thick Dick Nick. But no one ever saw my dick, so it was just weird.
We went to high school together.
Maybe you bumped into someone.
I might have started that rumor. What'd you call me? Thick Dick Nick? Oh, sweet. I was putting in people's phones like they say, what's your contact number? I swear to God. Oh, that's bad. I'm just admitting a lot of stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to the Millennial Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Agnelli, here with my co-host, Peter Price.
Yep.
And Ryan Cota.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm stoked for this, man.
Thank you guys for watching and listening and subscribing and everything that you guys have given us as far as your support and love has been amazing. To be able to give you guys a laugh or words of wisdom or anything in between means a lot to us. So
Totally.
Thank you for watching. First hot take question today. It's been on my mind all day. I might have done some manscaping today, right? Where do you guys trim the pube area?
This is not a Dollar Shave Club ad, by the
Yeah,
way.
no, it's not. Like, where do you, what's your pube line? Like, is it, do you just do the pubic area or do you do your legs too? Because if you have like hair on your legs, right?
Your legs?
Or your thighs, like upper thigh.
Nothing crazy about that.
Okay. Continue.
You know, like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
like
judge.
are you shaving your upper thigh area too? Or do you just shave the triangle of love right here, you know, and leave everything else free? Because, you know, I've been in locker rooms before, and some guys do, like, the boxer brief area line, basically, you know.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because
I'm not that hairy of a
Well,
guy.
yeah,
I was gonna say, it's
I'm
different,
not hairy
it's different
enough.
for you versus me. Like, I'm a pretty hairy guy.
Yeah,
so I'll
right.
go into like the leg area a little bit.
Okay,
the
I don't
thighs.
think I'm hairy enough for that. My
Yeah, I'm
thigh
pretty
hair is
hairy.
like blonde.
So you're just the triangle of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm even like, I'm like a trim guy these days.
Oh, I don't go
I don't
baby.
use a blade
I
anymore.
don't go
Yeah.
baby skin. No.
Right, okay.
I agree with
I wasn't sure if I was exposing myself. when I
No.
just said that. Right,
I think
cool.
it's a lot of work to go soft as a baby's bum, you know, and
Yeah.
you're in a...
Joe doesn't even necessarily like it. She's always disappointed when I shave. Is that weird also?
Oh.
No, I think probably because
She likes all natural caveman?
I mean, nothing crazy, I don't think.
Yeah.
I've never let it get out of hand, but like,
What's the longest stint you think you've gone?
time-wise,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
2
to
months?
the point where like I feel like I could twist it into twisties, you know what I'm talking
That's
about?
a long time.
Okay, that's a minute, Pete.
Yeah.
But it's probably like with your face. Like if you shave with your face on a razor and then you wait like 1 or 2 days, it's pretty rough.
That's
right.
true.
You
That's
know,
true.
JoJo probably doesn't like that.
That's true. The
But she had,
sandpaper
like,
vibes.
Yeah, probably not gonna like the sandpaper.
That
Right.
is true.
I know.
You shave your face to the skin though, right?
Well, no, this is actually a trimmer also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, you get the nice trimmers. That's
I've
tight.
had this one for years. It was like $40 from Target.
Wow. Good for you, Pete.
Well, we don't have a sponsor, so I won't even.
So you're a blend guy, Ryan. You like to go to kind of a fun area in the middle.
blend guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
And there, you know.
I don't really use much of a razor anymore.
Yeah, just trimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to keep it simple.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
good
remember when I
stuff.
first started shaving my balls, it was with a razor.
Yeah, those are risky times too.
Yes.
You know what? I take it back. The trimmer's pretty risky around the ball area.
Well,
Well, we're experienced in now.
Now,
You know,
yeah, I've got my
like-
technique down for
Yeah.
sure. But in the early days, that was when accidents happened.
that's such a good question too. Is when's the first time you shaved your pubes? Like how old?
Probably my true answer is like before I needed to, because I remember hearing that like I wanted them, you know, like pre-puberty
Okay.
times.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
And I remember hearing like if you shave your peach fuzz, it'll grow back as real hair
Alright.
sooner. So I think I was like stealing my dad's razors and trying to shave.
Like his face razors?
Well, no, like I'd steal the razor and take it for myself, like the spare
okay,
one
okay,
with
okay.
no handle on it.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
using the replacement blade, with no handle.
Are you committed?
Yeah, I wanted. Well, I was doing the whole face too,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so now this segues into another question that I'm just going off cuff. Do you guys use one razor for everything? Well, I guess we just established neither of us use razors for.
When
our
I
face.
did-
We will all probably use a razor for something, but like we have one. Yeah, I'm using it for. I'm not getting two. I just
No,
have one.
I agree.
I don't ever use
yeah.
it enough. It's like
Right. I remember a friend of mine in high school. I won't name him, but he had two razors.
Evan Hart?
No, not this time, dude. Good guess.
just out.
But he had two
Yeah.
razors. One for his pubes, one for his face, and he
Okay.
wouldn't use both.
I guess if you're shaving your pubes after like you just worked out and you're sweaty, it's kind of disgusting. But just don't.
Do
Like,
you ever
yeah.
shave your pubes not in the shower?
typically in the
Yeah, always in the shower.
Always in the shower.
Or I'll
right?
hover over the
Toilet?
The toilet.
With a razor?
That's messy.
Yeah, with a trimmer. Like a,
Yeah, but
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to get electrocuted.
I've done that.
Yeah, for sure. The hover method.
Crazy thought though, and for you guys out there,
Imagine
like,
if you had a bidet and you were doing the hover method.
Okay, that's a thought, Pete.
I don't know what purpose it would serve, but it was just a thought.
It's spraying as you're cutting.
Cleaning the
it's
area.
literally a circular motion.
Yeah.
Wow, we went down a rabbit hole there. Well, welcome to Millennial Mentality, guys.
Thanks for having
Welcome,
me.
Yes. It's the pube line is always a crazy question, and I'm gonna throw another one at you, Ryan. Hot take. Are you a prenup guy? You get married tomorrow. Do you get a prenup? Yes or no?
Probably not.
It's a hard question, though, right?
I don't know. That is a hard question.
It's tough.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I understand like why you would get one. I don't know if I really need to get one.
That's
or whatever.
exactly what we said.
Yeah, I think it's more
I
on the
understand why.
person. If you're marrying somebody and you feel like you really need to get a prenup, should you really be marrying that person? Probably
what I said
not.
to you.
That's
That's
what
what I
Nick
said to
said.
you.
Yeah.
Like, why am I looking for a plan B when I haven't even started plan A yet? You know, like,
But to play devil's advocate, my
I-
answer was, if you're so confident in the marriage, then it should sort of not be a big deal to just sign the prenup. You know, if you're
Yeah.
never going to break up with me, I'm never going to break up with you. Let's just sign the paper, and we know we have nothing to worry about. You know, then it doesn't
which
matter.
I also see that side. Like,
know,
very,
I see
very
both
much
sides.
so. You work so hard for the money that you make. Why would you ever want to split it with somebody if you divorce them?
Right.
Or vice versa. What if they're the one that's bringing in all the money and they're like, "Hey, can you sign this prenup?" And you're like, "Why would you don't trust me?"
Yeah, right.
You know.
But
you're
also,
like, well,
if you have no ill intentions, why not just sign
That's
it?
Yeah,
You know,
just sign
like,
it, exactly.
It
Who
should
gives a
just
shit?
sort of be no big deal.
Yeah. Are you
It's-
trying to make this like a regular thing for people?
no, we had an hour-long
just brought it
discussion
up,
about it
yeah.
yesterday. He's like, dude, do you think about what do you think about prenups? And I'm engaged and I'm getting married next July, and I'm a tradition guy. I'm like, no, I'm not doing prenups. I'm in.
It's bad juju.
If I'm playing cards, I'm an all-in guy. I'm not going to bet 3/4 of my hand
Yeah.
and leave a quarter back here.
Which I
I
understand.
feel that.
So again, if push comes to shove and one day we end up, God forbid, divorcing, like, fuck. But I don't want to start off the marriage by saying, I hope we don't get divorced, and this is what will happen if we do.
Right.
With that being said, to play as devil's avocados, a lot of people say that. 50% of people say that.
Right.
Get married and then get divorced.
50% of people also get divorced.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
So, like, I get why people do it. I get the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
And divorces get fucking messy.
Yeah, it
I-
almost
I-
shouldn't be a big deal to just sign it then.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it should just be a normal thing.
It's
Like
a-
when you go in to like get married, they're like, "Do you want to get a prenup?" It's like
There's
a question.
definitely paperwork involved somewhere in that process, you know, whether a prenup's involved or not. I think you got to sign some sort of certificates, right?
My girlfriend's, what do you call it? She is ordained.
Yeah. So she can marry
Yeah,
someone.
She's married two of her sisters, I think.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
badass.
wicked funny.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Is that like
Shout
a
out to
tradition in her
Knockwood.
family?
No, she just did it. I don't know.
That's so funny.
It is really funny.
Cool.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Her name is Knock Lynn.
Knock Lynn.
Yeah, like knock Lynn.
And that's one word, or like
Yeah.
Knock Lynn.
MGOC-LINH.
That's probably the coolest fucking name I've ever heard in my life. I ain't
Hyphen.
gonna
Who
lie.
do you know that's got a hyphen?
Vietnamese. That's why.
Really?
Yeah. The G is silent.
Wow, that
Shout
is
out Knock
awesome.
Lynn.
So, do you call her? That's what you call her, Knock
Yeah.
Lynn? Or, okay.
Yeah, I had a.
What's her nickname?
Yeah,
she
that's.
doesn't have one. Don't
Okay,
call
that's
her.
what I was
Don't call her
asking.
Knock. She don't like
Yeah,
it.
Really?
yeah.
Good to
No,
know.
she doesn't like it.
Good to
I'm
know.
gonna, because I was just about to say that nickname. That
Yeah, I
that
know.
was
When
my
I said
first,
shout
yeah.
out, did I say the full name? I hope I did.
Yeah. Well,
Shout out Knockland.
that's awesome. That's really cool. And is it? So it's not like Vietnamese tradition or anything like that. It's just like something special she did for her sisters.
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome. How long you been with her?
I think I always say like 4 Christmases, 3.
Hey,
That's
I remember
cute as
things.
fuck.
I remember
Yeah.
things by that
I love
too.
But I think that we fucked it up because we were talking about it a little while ago. We don't really have like an official start date.
We
You
were
know, most
talking
people
about
don't
that
have
last
that.
night.
Yeah,
I
Jojo
think people
too.
don't do that anymore.
We made ours up. Ours is Cinco de Mayo just because we decided it was going
You
to be
like
Cinco
it,
de
but
Mayo.
you guys didn't start dating till like July or something.
I think it was probably before Cinco de Mayo.
You picked a random fucking date.
It was around that time, and we were just like, how about Cinco de Mayo?
That's such a good hot top for our age question, because in this age of we're talking or
Yeah.
like we're exclusive, what the fuck does that mean? And like for me, I'm a guy who like I can't go to sleep at night. I'm weird without knowing like what the fuck am I dealing with here? Like what's the scenario I'm in?
It's good to know what you're getting into.
It is,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
because
What you're
Again,
signing up for.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm an all-in guy or not-in guy. So if I'm going to give you my heart and like my feelings and like my true whatever, fuck, like I need to know where your head's at or I'm not going to do that, you know? But I feel like a lot of people, they'll talk for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months and then be like, hey, like, what's your view of this? Are we friends? Are we fucking for fun? Or like, are we serious? Where me, I wanted to have that conversation like a month in to be like, yo, I don't want to waste 6 months of our time fucking and being like, shit, like where is this going? Right. And I feel like a lot of people like your situation, kind of talking, and then fell in love, and now you've been dating multiple years, and we're like, shit, did I ever ask you to be my girlfriend?
Did you ever ask Knockland to be your girlfriend?
I don't even remember, dude.
Right?
Yeah, honestly.
I don't think me and JoJo ever like had that conversation.
And a lot of people don't, you know. I think, especially at this age, because you start living with people more, and like you move in. It's not like college times. So over the time, you're just like, okay, we're obviously together. So, you know, and you start referring to her as your girlfriend. But if you were to put into a box right now your answer, you didn't know your significant other's answer, are you getting a prenup tomorrow?
Nah.
Oh, man, actually, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah, because I see it in both ways where, like, I think about, like, my first reaction is like, no. Yeah. You know, like, we got a condo together, right? I fronted the initial down payment. She didn't help with that, but she signed like the what do you call it, the title with me. You know, no issue with that. And then she's making payments and whatever with me. So, you know, probably not. Yeah, but if we do break up, that's a sticky situation now at the house.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done that if I thought that there was going to be an issue,
right? Of course,
at some point. So,
but it's like no one's scared until they get punched in the face. You know, it's like all hearsay until like you're like, well, I brought home all the bacon, and she's like, well, I raised the kids, and you're like, oh fuck, you know, like, and there's.
We're also like so. Sorry for the viewers that are just watching the other episode. Also, we just had the same conversation on the last episode, but I think it's a great conversation, so it's worth having again. To the point that you made on the last episode. Not that any of us think our significant others would do this, but what if 20 years down the road they cheat on you? And now you want a divorce because fuck that. Like, I'm not going to be with you after you did that to me. But if you ask for the divorce, I don't know how all that shit works, but my understanding is if you don't have the prenup and you initiate a divorce, you're splitting everything 50-50, or they're entitled at least to a portion of your stuff, you know?
So they didn't
even though they fucked up, you know? And so then it's like, damn, now am I fucked and I have to stay in this shitty situation because I don't want to give up half my stuff? Or do I bite the bullet and I give up half my stuff because I don't want to be in this shitty situation because we didn't want to sign the paper because we thought,
our ego was
you know?
High,
And, I mean...
Just sign it, Pete.
I don't know.
He's going to sign it. You know? We're all signing it.
I don't know what side of the
Everybody is signing it.
JoJo's going to come home the other day and be like,
what the fuck you say? So you got a prenup.
To be honest, like, I don't know what side of the coin JoJo would be on either, because she's like a little boss bitch too, you know? She makes her own
she
money.
hustles, dude. She works 7 days a week, man.
She doesn't depend on me
I work
for
with
fucking
her.
anything, you know?
We work together.
she's a badass.
She doesn't depend on me for anything.
No.
And I don't see that changing in her either. Like, she takes pride in that.
She might take a day off once every 3 weeks.
Okay, and this is truly to show like where we are at 2021. I feel like a lot of girls are making a lot more than guys are. Like the people I know successful, it's easily 50-50, if not more, leaning towards women making just as much as men, you know, these days. And I know
opportunities there.
I mean,
they're hungry.
I'm sure that there's some statistic that says the other. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I see it.
And I truly believe in everyone has an opportunity these days. I don't care what gender, race, whatever.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
If you want to make something for yourself, make it. You know, there's nothing in between. So that's crazy. We talked about prenups. We talked about pubes.
Do you still want to tell your virginity story that you were thinking about opening with?
All right. So we all lost our virginity.
Wow.
Maybe
hopefully.
At some point, right?
Rhoda says, well.
Never had sex before.
You are so cute. We all have a virginity story, right? And I feel like I'm going to be on here for long enough to the point I'm going to say it at one point or the other, so I'll just get it out.
Cool.
So Thick Nick was from K through 12.
You say Thick Nick?
Thick Nick. You know they called me TDN in high school, Thick Dick Nick?
No, I didn't.
But no one ever saw my dick, so it was just weird.
We went to high school together.
Maybe you bumped into someone.
Who was calling you?
I might have started that rumor. What'd you call me? Thick Dick Nick. Oh, sweet. I was putting in people's phones. Like, they say, what's your contact number? I swear to God. Oh, that's bad. I'm just admitting a lot of stuff. But yeah. Anyways, in Heath's phone, I'm Thick Dick Nick.
For real?
Yeah.
Let me see.
A dude's phone.
Beats phone?
Yeah, but I do that a lot when I'm drunk these days too. Like one of Paige's, now I'm friends with him, but it was old classmates. I put him on my phone as Huge Cock Kevin.
What?
I've never seen his cock before, Pete. So why is he Huge Cock? Like, where'd that come to my mind? You know, but I'm gonna get entry lip tattooed, so fuck me, right? God. Anyways.
But you remember this guy, though.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
You remember.
But you want to know what fucked me up? I didn't call him. I was fucked up, right? And then he called me when I was sober. And I get a call from Huge Cock Kevin. And I'm like,
I gotta talk to this
guy.
guy.
I'm like, wait, what? I have his number. So,
It was a FaceTime.
I swear I didn't suck a dude's dick.
This whole story is sus. You did lose your virginity in this story, right?
Yeah,
Is that
to
where
Kevin.
Oh fuck.
So, anyways, back to the story. had not lost my virginity all through 12th grade. Right, I graduated high school virgin, and we went on a senior trip. So we graduated high school.
The Bahamas, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like 20 of us people. We pitched it to a lot of our other classmates, but like 20 kids. It was about $750. We went over to the Bahamas for 7 days. They gave us food. They gave us a party every night, and it's 18 to drink in the Bahamas. So we're all going over there like
It was a fucking sick trip.
Dude, it was a sick trip. Pool parties every day. Like this person the company that we booked it with had everything set up for us.
And it wasn't like a school field trip. You know, like we paid for this outside of the school.
Nothing affiliated with nothing affiliated
no
with
chaperone. It was just a bunch of 18-year-old kids running around the Bahamas getting lit for a full week.
Yep.
It was nuts.
So first night we get there and it's like a glow in the dark party. So you know people are wearing like neon colors and shit. We're dancing there.
I haven't thought about this in so long.
I'm grinding up on a chick. I'm feeling good, right? You know,
Sick.
I had lost some weight at the time, so I'm feeling myself. And so we leave the club together. We made out a little bit there. We go back to the hotel hot tub. I'm chilling, partying.
I'm like, damn, I think this chick's feeling me. Oh shit.
I'm like, I don't know how to close this shit though at all. So we walk upstairs, walk to the hotel room. Here's the funny part. I'm not going to get into the details like the sex. But everyone on that trip knew I was a virgin, right? I went on the trip with like 20 people.
Oh, everyone must have been pushing you into it. Or the girls, too. They're probably pushing the girls.
Who's gonna fuck next?
There was girls
seriously.
pushing girls up to me like, he's a virgin. I'm like, no, that's not the vibe I want. That's not, you know.
They're trying to see if it was thick.
Yeah.
I want to know if it was thick.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan with the singers. So I'm like, you want to like come up and chill with me up there? You know, I was roomed with 3 other guys, right? Jared Ward, Nick Bono, and I'm forgetting a third. It might have been you, honestly. And I walk into the apartment, the hotel room. It's like 1:30 in the morning. All the guys are literally sleeping. They sit up like zombies. They look at me. They smirk, and they leave the room. Not a word was said. I did not have to say a word, right? I do my business.
There's some homies, dude.
Yeah.
There's some
That's
homies.
fire.
I do, literally, it was the coolest bro code thing I've ever seen in my life. I do my business, which lasts anywhere from like 1 to 15 minutes, I forget. And then I go to walk her out of the room.
Felt like eternity.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get over with.
Cold sweats literally dripping off my nose.
You went from 1 to 15.
Yeah.
This is gross.
Yeah.
I gotta be done with this.
So this is what they were saying? And so I go to walk her out of the hotel room, and I literally open the door to the hotel room. I look to my right, and 3 of my boys are just sitting on the ground, like half knocked out, leaning against each other. That was the moment I literally looked at them and I said, I love you guys. Like, that was the most amazing bro code story of all time.
That's awesome.
So what'd you do with the girl? Just leave her in the room?
So she walked back to her hotel room respectfully.
Past the 3 guys?
Yeah. And
she dapped them all up on
and
the way
then
up.
Probably,
I went to every hotel person from Dwyer and knocked on their door, and was just like, open the fuck up, I just got laid! Like, party with me! I had people running up to give me a hug like I just wanted an Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just, you know, everyone.
It was a big deal.
It was, you know, but I'm sorry if that was too much information.
No, dude, that was perfect amount of information.
Here's the thing. we all have these stories. I'm just crazy enough to say them, you know, and I think it's really funny because a lot of them are relatable, you know. Like,
totally.
We all had that time where none of us had sex before in our lives. We're like, okay, what are we getting into tonight? You know, like, is it gonna be Sahara Desert or slippery slopes? You know, fuck. So
right.
Pete,
more about Cota.
You're right, Cota. Where were you born?
Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, from Tucson.
Both parents were from the Arizona area?
No, my actually neither of them are from there. My dad is from Mexico, and Hermosillo. So it's like the state underneath Arizona, is Sonora. Okay. So he's from Hermosillo, which is like a city in Sonora. And then my mom. So my dad's 100% Mexican. My mom is from Louisiana. She's like a bunch of just like different white things.
Really? Caucasian, we'll call it.
Yeah, she's just white as hell. That's cool, but she's Cajun, I guess.
Okay.
Technically.
I was trying to figure out with your skin tone whether you're Italian.
I get that a lot. Yeah. But when I was like in Arizona and I was out in the sun a lot, like I was brown. Like,
okay.
I look Mexican.
Really?
Now I'm like questionable. People don't really know. I get the question all the time. But like when I lived in Arizona, it makes a lot of sense. There's like a huge Mexican population in Tucson. You know, it's only an hour from the border, so I think for the most part I looked like most of the people there.
What brought you from Arizona to here?
That baseball. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I did like I played baseball my entire life.
What position?
I played outfield until they realized I really sucked at hitting. But I always threw really hard.
Okay.
So like my last 2 years, so I did like 2 years of junior college in Tucson.
Okay.
Playing for Pima. It was a community college or whatever. It was like we were pretty good, fairly good. But did my last 2 years out here for Palm Beach Atlantic.
Okay.
And then I just decided to stick around after that.
Is that the private Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, Palm Beach Atlantic.
Yeah.
It's right.
It's
on
a religious school.
Yeah, pretty religious.
It's right on the island, right? Or,
right next to it. Yeah.
Sunfest right there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not really a religious guy, to be honest. But and that was kind of almost the case of most of the athletes, aside from maybe like the volleyball team. I think was like really, really religious. They would even It's funny. I was like talking to my girlfriend about this a little while ago. They were telling us we had such a bad rep. Like the baseball team had such a bad reputation.
And what social rep? Like baseball rep?
Because like most of the guys were there just to play baseball. They didn't really give a shit about like the religious aspect. Or most of the students were there partly for the religious aspect. And some of the teams and stuff like that where like the volleyball coach would sit down with the volleyball team at the beginning of the year and be like, don't hang out with the baseball guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like the couple of years before that, they were like really bad. So I don't want to say like bad guys because like I know some of those guys and they're like good people or whatever, but they're like wild partiers.
So they party,
they're like wild partiers. They said whatever they wanted to, and it was pretty offensive most of the time. So it's just like developing a bad rep. So even if we were going into like some classes, I didn't really get it too much. Maybe with like one or two of my teachers for my entire like I did 3 years there. I redshirted my first year, so 3 years. Maybe like one or two teachers initially were like, oh, baseball player. Once they get to like know me a little bit, then it was fine. And I was a pretty good student. So
did you start chirping a lot more playing with those guys?
Not really, man. We were a pretty tame team compared to like some people that I knew. I was never really too much of a chirper, I don't think, anyways. I mean, you get into it, like, you talk shit to people when you almost feel like it's needed. I don't know.
Baseball is kind of a silent talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, I remember as kids in T-ball, you do these chants, and shit.
Yes.
In the dugout. But it's kind of like in baseball, if I want to roast you, I'm just going to hit a homer. You know what I'm saying? Or like...
I want to think that baseball is a little bit more of like I don't know, maybe it was just like the team that I played on. I don't want to say like it's more of a classy sport because it's...
It's developing, I think, a little bit now, at least from like what I'm watching. I don't watch it as much as I used to, but there's unwritten rules. There's things that you can't do, or they used to be. Now they're starting to kind of get broken, and like the old mentality's drifting away, or the new guard is coming in, I almost should say. But I want it to be like more entertaining. I want people to like talk shit to each other and get hyped. And when they hit a home run, they pimp it, and they show up the pitcher, and then there's like a rivalry going, and it keeps you like focused or like more into the game. It's like when two UFC fighters are talking shit to each other in the face-off, and then one of them swings at the other person. Now people are like into it. It's like Conor McGregor. It's like watching him fight. Like that's what I want baseball to almost be like, or I want it to be like basketball in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want it to be
Savage.
aggressive, and I want fucking people to get run over, and I want there to be like penalties and fouls. You know, like that's what I want to see, and it's almost starting. I don't want to say starting to develop into that, but these old rules that were there in place, the unwritten rules,
Are getting pushed up.
and I like to see it a little bit.
Good.
It's cool.
It's true. Well, it's passion. Like, for instance, Fury and Wilder. I don't know if you guys saw highlights of that fight last night. The heavyweight championship boxing title. It's now the third repeat of the fight. And Fury, who's, I believe he's English, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think so. Somewhere around there.
He's got this brilliant accent, dude, and he talks, and when he talks shit, it's just so great because it's an accent, right? So strong. But his whole mantra, it's like he's tall as hell, but it's a guy who doesn't look fit. And the guy he's opposing is like a 6'5" black guy who's just juiced, right? Huge.
Okay.
And he's like the weird, funky white guy who's just crazy.
I think his
Doesn't look
nickname
fit.
is the Gypsy King.
Yeah, Gypsy King. But no, he doesn't look. He looks like a librarian who's 6'5", but he's got literally the best hands in the world. Anyways, there's passion behind that because, like you said, there's words, there's emotion, and a lot of like football huge NFL fans, like there's words and emotion and like shit talking behind it, and I think that's what sparks a lot of this fuel for these fan kingdoms.
Makes it entertaining for viewers to watch. Also,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a business, and
Right.
people want to watch it.
Yeah.
Let's give them something to watch. There's people who are going to obviously watch it for the sport.
Yeah.
It is. I remember watching Randy Johnson's Perfect Game.
Yeah.
Probably when I was like 12 years old, maybe 12 or 13 or something like that. And that was like a big deal. And I still remember that. And I remember watching the 2001 World Series.
Is that the Marlins? That
That was Yankees and Diamondbacks. 'Cause I'm from Arizona, so that was like a big moment for us. And watching Luis Gonzalez hit the shittiest blooper over the shortstop, over Derek Jeter's head to win the World Series. It was like amazing.
That's right.
And that was like a hell of a series. Or like I was talking about this a little bit ago with one of my friends, Ryan Gerber. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been like 2011, 2010 or something like that, 2009. World Series between Cardinals and the Rangers. And it was like Josh Hamilton was probably like one of the best. For a time period, he might have been one of the best baseball players who ever lived. He was fast, he threw hard.
Was that the ex-drug guy? Like the
Yeah, I actually read it. He has an autobiography that was like really amazing. And I don't read ever. Probably like, it was like Green Eggs and Ham, and then Josh Hamilton's autobiography. That was it. And I couldn't recommend that book enough to anybody.
Wow.
It was an amazing story. Guy had every tool in the book.
Yep.
They say like 5 tools in baseball, and he had all of them. And first round, first pick, I think, as an 18-year-old, he's doing really well, totally crushing the minors, gets into an accident, he can't play, and then he's starting to do, he's hanging out at like tattoo parlors, getting tattoos, started getting into like some of the negative aspects of hanging around some of these sketchy
bad stuff
people.
happens at those tattoo
Yeah.
parlors. You gotta watch out for those.
Tattooers, bad guys, all of them.
Bad
But he starts getting into some of the negative aspect of the people he was hanging around from, and it just like totally fucked up his life. And he got out of baseball for like quite a while, getting into rehab, in and out of it. Didn't touch a baseball for a while, or a bat, and then gets clean, gets back into it a little bit.
That's when he got that record, the home run derby record, right?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing to watch, and he had such a crazy story. And, I think his MVP year, he was hitting like 360 or something, probably like 35 home runs.
He was a robot.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. This guy was like on top of the world for a little bit of time. And watching that World Series was like incredible. So like there's something to be said about people who are there for like the sport.
Correct.
But sometimes it's just baseball. It's like so fucking boring sometimes. You need like the hype. You need people to like give them a reason to watch other than just the sport.
I also think they play a hell of a lot of fucking games.
It's hard, man. 162. 162.
That's a lot of ball.
Bro, it'll drain you.
Yeah.
I think we played like 60 games or something in college, and that was
So you said you started off as an outfielder. Where did you, when you went to FAU, where did you...
it was PBA.
PBA, I'm sorry. Where'd you go? What were you playing?
I went there as an outfielder.
Okay.
And so like my thing was kind of always like, I would like go through little stints. One of the things about being like a good baseball player was the consistency. But it's so hard to be consistent. So like I might go through stints maybe where like maybe I was like 10 for 10, you know, and people are like, this guy's tearing it up. Yeah, and I remember having like a doubleheader. We played doubleheaders in JUCO, so it was like Tuesdays and Saturdays, doubleheaders on both. I remember having like a doubleheader where I just didn't get out either game. You know, I think I was like 6 for 6, had a couple doubles, like 3 or 4 RBIs, 4 stolen bases. Like it was like people were like, "Holy shit!"
Coda's
like
fire.
Coda's back, yeah. You know, but it was like right before that, I was probably like 0 for 25. You know, so
slumps
like
are real in that sport.
Baseball's a game of confidence, man.
dude, it's so hard. Yeah, it's such a mental thing.
Yeah.
It was like probably the most stressful time. I will always say this: nothing will ever be harder in my life than playing baseball. I will never be more stressed out. I have never been more stressed out in my entire life than playing college baseball.
Yeah,
because I was just
like depressed type stressed, like.
Yeah, actually, I think
Really?
almost to some point where I was like a little bit depressed because I was always like this, you know, like the friends and stuff that were in my corner were like, you could do so well with this, you know, like I was generally like more in the top tier of speed, I think, when like, you know, speed wise, like in my earlier years, junior college and stuff, like I got a little bit slower, I think, when I went to PBA, but like I was pretty fast. I had always had like the best arm on the team. I had really good bat speed, so I can hit home runs and stuff. But when I was on. So like if I was on, people noticed it because, you know, I'm throwing people out from right field.
Correct.
You're stealing bases, maybe hit a couple home runs or something a year, RBIs, whatever it was. But like I was tough. But when I was not on, dude, it was like
It's the lowest lows. That's what I remember about that sport.
yeah, it was like ups and downs.
Yeah.
So like being a consistent baseball player was like a really, really tough thing. But nothing will be more stressful in my entire life. Like I couldn't think of a single thing that I've gone through since then, which has been like
that says a lot.
7 years. Yeah, where I have been that stressed.
You're doing pretty good.
That says
Also,
a
that
lot.
shows he cared about it a fuck ton.
I would be in
It's
the
your
cage
passion.
for hours.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's few people. I worked with like or played with, I should say, like a lot of people who put in a lot of effort, like a lot of effort. When when you're young and you have dreams and you want to make it, you know, but there's limitations to some people where they don't throw as hard as the other person. Like that guy who's playing shortstop that has the better arm is going to get a better look, or the guy who's hitting the ball a little bit further is going to get a better look. The guy who's faster is going to get a better look. And I was I wasn't some fucking prodigy, but like I got looked at.
Yeah.
So the expectation was there a little bit more for me.
Yeah.
So I had to push into that direction almost. And that's what was the stressful part was like people would say almost to me, if you could just figure it out, Cota. No doubt about it. Like I had friends, I remember I had like a couple of friends who had me sign baseballs for them because they're like, you're going to go pro one day.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, like when you figure it out, I'm going to have this ball and we used to play travel team together.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, it's kind of a cool thing.
That's dope.
It felt good, and it was like,
Absolutely. It feels
yeah,
good.
it feels good. It gives
How
you a
would
little
that
bit of a
not make you feel great?
give you a confidence boost. But like when you were low, you were low. But
Yeah.
you have these guys in your corner who are always like, just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. But then like when you're 0 for 20,
You want to quit the game.
and you haven't even fouled a ball
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
and you feel like when you step in the right-hand batter's box that you're holding the bat backwards
Yeah.
because you will have that feeling.
Yeah.
You will not be more depressed.
Yeah.
Dude.
You know, it was
I remember that.
awful.
That hits home, dude.
I played travel ball for 4 or 5 years, and it was like that. You go to tournaments where literally you go into the tournament so happy, so excited, and by midway through, we went to Myrtle Beach. It was like the what's the New York tournament when you're 12?
Cooperstown.
It was like the Cooperstown of down south, but we weren't as good. And you go into the tournament so happy. If you had a bad first game, you're like, "Fuck, I want to leave the tournament now and go home."
Right.
You know,
Dude, I played baseball my entire childhood. Up until my sophomore year of high school, and then I started selling drugs. But up until that point, my baseball was my whole life growing up, you know, and my parents' whole life too, because that's how it works in South Florida. You play baseball all year long. There is no off season because the weather never changes. And so my parents were driving all over the place for tournaments and shit always. And I remember going through one of those slumps, and, you know, I was probably only like 13, 14 years old at the time. but playing on 2 different teams, my middle school team, my travel baseball team, going from one practice to the other, playing tournaments every weekend. And I was going through a fat slump on my travel team. And I went from being the leadoff batter. Like I was always like a fast, small, quick kid, I didn't hit super hard. I didn't hit a lot of home runs, but I would hit like a little fucking infield grounder and beat it out, where I'd get walked like 90% of the time because I just stand right on top of the plate and no one could throw a strike. And I was going through a fat slump, wasn't even, getting played sometimes, and then became like the last batter in the lineup. And I was like so down on myself from being in this extended slump that I wanted to quit, and this is the sport that I had dedicated my whole life to up until this point, And I remember having that conversation with my dad saying, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, I'm really not feeling it. And, he sat me down and was like, look, man, I'm here for you. And if you want to quit, I'll support you in that. And I understand. But I've seen how much, like, time you've put into this sport and, like, how much potential that you have. And I don't think this is the end for you. And I think you could really, like, flip a switch and figure this out. And we can take it a lot more serious and get back into this. And, whatever he said to me that night resonated with me. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this. Like, let's try one more time. And I remember just doubling down. I, like, fucking shaved my head and, like, dyed my buzzed head blonde or something to just do something drastic. Yeah. And I became a savage,
There's something to that, yeah.
Batting cages every day, hustling, grinding. And, ended up turning it around and then played baseball for another fucking 8 years or something like that, whatever the timeline was. But I mean, I'm grateful for my dad for that conversation, but it also goes to show that sport that I dedicated my whole life to, one slump, gets you to the point where you're just feeling like, maybe I'm not cut out for this, like there's so many variables though,
correct,
that it's not even in your control all the time.
Well, what both of you guys are saying right now is a parallel to life. If you don't see that, it's like, you'll be in a slump where everything is shit. You're dropping foul balls. You're not throwing right. Your hitting is shit. Everything is shit. But it takes one dinger out of the park and your confidence is back, right? Yeah. You could have 3 or 4 shitty games, but if you have one solid hit or one solid play or one something, all your confidence is back just like that. I remember playing and I was in a slump and I just got one good hit or one break for me and I was like, boom, I'm back. That's all I needed.
Dude, I love that you just said that. Because the team that I was playing on at the time that I was in that slump, the coach kind of like had something against me. Like I was in a slump and I didn't deserve to be, batting leadoff at the time. But he was like, had something against me, and his son was on the team. And that's how it was when you were playing as kids, like the coach's kid plays. And his son was not very good, but he always played. And he did, like, no matter if he was in a slump, it didn't budge his position, Fast forward several years later, now I'm playing on a different team. And we're all like grown up now. We're not kids anymore. And his son is who I'm playing against. And that same coach is on the coach of the opposing team. And I had like a killer migraine this day. It was like a tournament in Stewart or something like that. We drove up there. I had a bad headache in the car. Got out of the car as soon as we got there, threw up. And for some reason was like, nah, I'm good. Like, let's go. I'll go play. And still went to the game, That's always kind of how it worked when I had migraines. After I threw up, I like had a short spurt of like, I feel fine now, but it always came back. But anyway, I go to the game anyway, and I'm leadoff batter on this team. That kid, that coach's son, I don't want to say his name, I almost just said it. That coach's son is the pitcher of this game. And I'm fucking in the batter's box. The first ball is like at my fucking head. I dive down on the ground and dodge it. Get back up, dust myself off, get back in the box. Second ball is up here again. It's my first home run I've ever hit.
Really?
Knock it out of the park. First home run.
That's gotta feel good.
That coach that fucking batted me last for like a full season was the third base coach, He just fucking watched that thing go out of the park, and I got to hit it off his son. It felt amazing.
Yeah.
But to that point, it only takes one of those moments to be like, I'm so fucking glad I just played for the last 4 years and didn't give up on this shit.
It's also kind of nice in that moment to be able to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You just hit a home run off this guy's son.
Yeah.
You're rounding probably the bases looking at him.
Right, he's the third base coach.
You're looking down. Even if you make eye contact for half a second, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
It feels good to be able to like show somebody up every once in a while. That deserves it.
And now you know. When you don't have to say a word.
I shouldn't say deserves it. In your mind, you're like, fuck that.
I deserve it.
Yeah, you deserve that. You deserve that win there, Pete.
The most badass things in the world are when you don't have to say a fucking word. And everything in the world just kind of speaks for itself. Some people call it karma, but it's just like,
Actually, that kind of reminds me. I'll tell like a quick story really fast.
Have at it.
This is in junior college. I was like and I couldn't even say I was like dating this girl that was playing softball at the time. Whatever. Hung out a few times or something like that. Her ex-boyfriend went to like a rival school or whatever, junior college, somebody in our conference. And they had always historically been a very good baseball school to go to. I think he might have, he was a pretty good baseball player too as well. But this is like back when I had a Facebook and people had Facebooks. But he commented on a picture or something that I commented on. I can't really remember what the story was. So it was a picture that his ex-girlfriend posted that I was like kind of hanging out with a little bit. So I say something and then he just comments on whatever I commented on, puts like arrows up and he just says pussy. That was it. And I was like, well, yeah, he was not shy about it, that's for sure. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? What's going on here? I don't think I said anything to it back. I think some of the people on my team were like chirping at him, whatever. But when we played Yavapai, I had a fucking good game. And he had a shit game. You know, like, I kind of rubbed it in his face a little bit. I didn't have to say a single word. I didn't say anything to him the whole fucking time. But I knew that he knew when I was standing on second base. And he was standing behind me trying to, like, you know, they do that little thing where they're, like, trying to keep you close to the bag. That I was having a fucking good game. And he did not have a good game.
Nice, dude. I love that.
Even the balls that I hit that were out, lineouts, they were hit hard. And he didn't do shit the whole time.
David
When we go by each other at the end of the game and I tap him up, we make eye contact. It felt pretty good.
Taking his souls, man.
And he dapped you up.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And there's no words that need to be said. David Goggins calls it taking souls. When you look at another man or woman, whatever it is, and you're like, you fucking know that. I know that you fucking know. You know, I
don't need to say I was bad.
Exactly.
That's great.
So what? And on the last note of baseball, what characteristics from baseball did you learn that you take into your life now? Like, what were the top few characteristics? That's a good question,
man. I mean, when I was younger, dude, I was such a hothead, man. Like, I was like slamming bats, throwing helmets, like cussing at fucking umpires, and dude, it was like pretty bad.
That's surprising knowing you today.
See, but that's I think that where I learned it. Yeah, or that's what I was saying. I was never more stressed in my entire life than when I was playing baseball. You know, just like grinding, trying to achieve something that I could have maybe potentially gotten to. You know, and more realistically, if I had a better mental approach to the game, I probably would have gotten to some sort of minor leagues. You know, I got offered to play money after my junior year.
Would you call that perspective? What would you call that then? The word to describe.
Just I don't know, almost like mental fortitude or something. I don't know, but so in junior college, I had this coach. His name was Jason Heisey. We would jokingly call him Jay Heise the Wise. He was incredible. Me and him like went at it like this all the time. You know, I think maybe some of it was that he knew that maybe I could be something good if I really could just figure it out mentally, but I was such a fucking punk. So we always would go at it. But one of his things was the best player will play. You know, and I had always had I couldn't even say I was the best. Like there nowhere near the best, but I was the better option for the position most of the time, or at least the potential side was. Like if I was on, okay, like maybe I can affect the game in a positive way. So he would play me for most of the season. You know, then I go through these crazy slumps and he'd take me out. Then the next guy goes in and he kind of sucked at the time or whatever it was. Then I'd get another shot or something like that. So I had like a respect for him. He wasn't playing favorites or whatever, but we would always go at it. And, you know, he would get in my face and fucking yell at me and embarrass me in front of everyone. But I definitely deserved it and needed to be checked and stuff like that. But he had this, I remember he had told this story one time. And it was like, I think this is how it went. So anytime he would say something, I feel like he was talking to me and the whole entire group. I feel like he was just like referring everything directly to me. But, you know, in a
he
good
probably
way.
was, yeah.
Might have been. Fucking might have been.
Guys do that. And coaches do that in particular. Yeah.
But the story he was telling was, he would say this: if you put a frog in boiling hot water, it jumps out.
Right.
You put a frog in a pot of water, and you slowly turn up the heat. It just sits there and it's swimming. Slowly turn up the heat. Before you know it, the frog's dead. And And what he was basically saying was, I don't want you to dig a hole for yourself that by the time you realize it's hot, you can't get out of it. And that was like something that I was doing all the time back then. You know, now I have a little bit of different perspective where I can like take a step back. I don't have to, you know, react emotionally and let it ruin my entire mental frame. But back then, that's what I was doing, you know, and it took me probably, as soon as I was done with baseball, I think everything that he ever talked to me about or talked to everybody about just like clicked. And I was like, okay, maybe seeing it from like a different perspective and a different like work environment,
life,
you say, yeah, whatever. It just like made sense. So like, I always say that, like, I have said this before, but like, I gotta reach out to this guy, you know, like, and I haven't ever done it for like 7 years. I have to like send him an email or something, really or give him a call, find a way to get in touch with him, just to tell him like, you know, I'm sure you know, Jason, that I didn't make it, or I'm gonna just probably call him Coach. I'm never gonna call him Jason. So I never made it, but like all the things that you try to teach me, you weren't trying to win games with us almost. Of course he was, but like I think what he was trying to do was just turn us into like better men, like better people.
That's awesome. You want to know the truth is the best coaches don't do it to win games. They do it to change people's lives. Like, in my opinion, you know, like,
he definitely made an impression on me. Correct. I can tell you.
I don't remember the best teachers who taught me the actual subject. I remember the best teachers that taught me the wisest and the best life lessons and way to approach things.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, though, the analogy with the frog, because it's perspective. It's checking yourself. It's to see like how lucky you are or where you're heading or who you're with. And to say, okay, I'm going to step back for a second and look at this whole picture. And if it's hot, I'm going to get the fuck out before I burn myself, you know? That's amazing. So when you got done with baseball, what was that transition like of saying, okay, I'm going to drop something that I've put so much time into my entire fucking life, and I'm going to go another route? And what was that route?
Dude, I'm not going to lie. It was like pretty relieving. When I was done, I was like, I think I told all my friends that I was, you know, playing with at the time. I said, I'm not going to touch a baseball again, ever. Which I've gone past that, you know, obviously. But for probably like 3 years, I had not touched a ball or a bat. If somebody threw a ball in my direction, I had just turned to the side and let it go. I didn't even try to catch it. I was not going to do it. I was like so relieved to be done. Didn't watch any games or nothing. You know, I can't even say like that I miss playing now, because I don't really miss playing.
Yeah.
But I can look back at it in like a positive way, where at the time I was just like sick of it. Didn't want to fucking do it. But at the time I was like, what was I even doing? I didn't have a reason really to go home at the time. So I graduated. I was a history major, education minor. I wanted to be a high school history teacher. And then my last semester, I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I think I didn't like the way that they were forcing teachers to teach in some ways.
Yeah. Standardized testing and stuff like that.
Not really. It's just, I think what it was they want you to teach. So there's like 5-6 different styles of learning or something for a student. And they want you to teach a lesson to every style of learning. But in my perspective, by teaching one specific style of learning, you're excluding the 4 others. And then you have to go to the next one, but you're, again, excluding the 4 others. Then you go to the next one, but again, you're excluding the 4 others. Where, like, for me, one of the best teachers I ever had was in high school. He would just have this huge whiteboard, and he would write everything down on it. His writing was like this big. And it would be completely covered, and he would say, write this down. And you got 20 minutes. And then he would just, like, take a seat and, like, read a book for 20 minutes. And when you walked in, that was the first thing he did. As soon as you were done, and everybody was done, and he was a pretty intimidating guy. So when he said 20 minutes, you were like, I got to do this in 20 minutes.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, you did it. He would then just tell a story. The best teachers that I think I ever had were just telling stories, and it was so interesting to listen to. Because that's what history basically is. It's just this one giant story. But it depends on how good the storyteller is. Yeah. Because everyone hates history class. They go in and they're like, it's just a bunch of dates, things I need to memorize. It sucks. That's not fucking true. Like, you like Saving Private Ryan. That's history. Like, that's a little glimpse of it. You know, obviously it's dramatized. But there's some truth to how this was. There's like a realistic representation of that time period or that war, you know. But then he would just tell his story, and it was like amazing to listen to, and like a lot of the things stuck. You know, I loved that class. So for me, I didn't want to get back in it. I was like, I can't get into teaching if they want me to do it this way because I'm just not going to do that.
Right.
And I just don't like to do things that I don't want to do. I have like a tough time doing something that I cannot get behind.
Can't fake it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to do that. I was dating this girl at the time. I was like, I'll just stick around. I was a professional driver. What
does that mean? Like a race driver, like Uber?
Valet.
Okay. Kind of in between.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Zing.
I wrecked like 3 cars.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Did you?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. If you look at my Instagram, you scroll down for a little while, I'm standing next to this car where I ripped the entire
I'm going to
bumper
find
off,
it. I'll
bro.
put it on the screen.
Yeah, put it on the thing there.
Yeah.
Wait, you took a picture next to it, like thumbs up?
I had my hands on my hips.
For like legal reasons? Like, why would you?
It was like at the end of the day or whatever.
That's funny.
I was done with work going home or something. But
Hold on.
Pete will find it and put it on
I'll
the
find
thing.
it, yeah.
I was a pizza driver my junior year of high school, dude. And I worked for this place called Puccini's. It was the worst fucking pizza restaurant. Horrible pizza. But I would deliver it. I made like $30 a night. And they'd get like a random call, like, hey, can you order a pizza? Like, oh yeah, I guess. And I would deliver it. So one night, it was like a long driveway, like out in a Palm Beach Country Stage or something like that. And I drive in, run in. It was like a last call, and it was like I was trying to get cut, and one late call came in, did it. But I have a stick shift, and I threw it in reverse, and I'm going fast as fuck, reversing by this driveway. I ran like 20 miles an hour into this palm tree.
Oh!
Right? I'm in the fucking driveway. I get out of my car, I'm like, oh shit. But you're like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here too. Because their palm tree's like 45 degrees over.
Your car was straight?
Well, no, it wasn't. But I was like, I still gotta bounce.
Yeah.
Damn, I hope I don't get sued. So I get in my car, man, I wind up out of there. I go back to the pizza place. I'm like, yo, boss, can we do something about this? He's like, oh, that sucks.
Can we do something about my hit and run?
He's like, I was like insurance policy or something. He's like, oh, that sucks. Nah, man, that sucks. And I was like, oh, shit, all right.
I don't blame him, man. Sounds like it was
My
your
bumper
fault.
was literally off. My shit was done.
You fucked that palm tree up.
That's so funny.
That's
So
actually-
anyways, what type of car did you fuck up? Was it like a Bentley?
Nah, it was like a rental car. I don't think
Oh, okay.
I didn't fuck up any cars that like really would have been an issue. Most of the time they're like rental cars or something. I had 3 accidents. But
The difference is valet companies do have insurance
Yeah,
policies
yeah.
for that because they're
the pizza
prepared for
company
things
does
like
not.
that.
Pizza company, no.
Yeah, you were just a liability.
Yeah.
Where did you valet?
The Breakers. Shout out the Breakers.
Wow,
nice.
that's where
Yeah.
you started. That's a good ass place to start valeting.
Yeah.
Worthy of the title professional driver.
Yeah, I was a
Okay.
professional driver.
And
baby.
the Bentley guest was not far off.
No,
it's
right?
really
I'm
not.
surprised.
No, I'm trying to remember. Like when I wrecked that first car, you back in every single car, so it's easy for you to be able to pull out.
Yeah.
I was in this like big truck.
You were using your baseball speed.
I did. I was sprint. I was
Were you a
using that
runner?
off
What
season.
runner value?
Yeah, when that like I was doing it during my off seasons.
Yeah.
And I would use it like conditioning. Like I was like sprinting.
So this was a seasonal job for you. You kept it
Yeah.
up? Yeah.
Yeah, or I would also keep it up during like this, the whole
Yeah.
entire year, but I would only do like Sundays. You
Yeah.
know, so like I would do baseball 6 days a week, Sunday. That was like my job. And
The
it
guy
helped
was
me-
at the valet stand just giving him signs too, so he
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew.
Take off.
hmm I was good at that job, man. I mean, I wrecked 3 cars, but whatever. It was
Yeah.
like over
Were you zapped
3-4
or were you
years.
so sober and just?
Oh no, I don't do any
Yeah,
drugs. Like
yeah.
I didn't drink at the time. I don't barely ever. I would like get fucked up like 3 times a year, But then that might be the only times I was drinking the entire year.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would go into work and I would take it seriously and I would try to get the car like as fast as possible and I would use it as conditioning basically. But yeah, when you back in every single car. So I was in this big truck and I pulled out, cranked the wheel to the right. The back right, so the passenger rear tire clipped the bumper of the car next to me.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
But it's a big truck and it just ripped it off. Fucking ripped it up.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I was like so embarrassed and like felt so bad and I have to go up to the manager and be like, hey, I'm like fucked up.
I would not have done that. I would have came by now early like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah.
Who fucking hit space 102?
Yeah, you just pull it up to the front.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like
You
that.
brought it like this, man. What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. It was embarrassing. But this is actually kind of funny. Every accident that I got into, and everyone will say this, that's ever been in valet at the breakers or anywhere. If you fuck up and you hit a car, the next car that you drive, you are so tense. Driving that car, and you're like, just relax, like back it in.
You got this.
It's cool. You do this like 1,000 times a day. And every car that I had driven after that, I got into another accident. No. And I never said anything about it. I was like, I'm not telling them again.
Oh, so I wasn't far off.
No, I backed up and hit the car behind me every time.
Wait, okay.
After that first one, every time.
Coda, how do you what?
I didn't say shit about it, dude. I was like, no way. Not getting fired.
Was it like a soft tap or like a...
One of them had a trailer hitch, so it left a indent.
That's so funny.
Like a good one.
It's 2021. Who doesn't have backup cameras?
I mean, this was 2015, 2016, yeah, somewhere around there. And then most of the time they did. But not some of the ones that I was in. It was just bad. It was just bad luck. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. But I was just like so tense. After that, I was fine.
Wow. So what was your transition from valeting?
I like that you were more stressed during baseball than you were crashing other people's cars.
I tell you, that's how stressful it was.
I can just imagine.
Baseball's stressful, man.
He's so nonchalant. Looks
Careful
back
what
and
sports
says,
you put your kids into.
Yeah, fuck, man.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, well. And then it's like jog off.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Wake up, Pete. What was your transition like after valeting to whatever? What was your next step?
Oh, yeah. So, sorry, a big sidetrack.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, so I was, dating this girl. I was like, I don't really have anything going on for me, really, in Tucson. I'm not going to go back and try and teach there. I don't want to do that. So, plus I'd have to, kind of get recertified over there to be a teacher in Arizona versus Florida. So, all right, I'll stay here. I'll keep working. I enjoyed it. I did like valet. I was like, maybe I'll try and work here, progress, through the ranks and stuff. So I kind of put it out there for him. It was fairly well received. I remember a management position came open and somebody else got it, and I was a little bit bummed, but the guy who took it, his name was Dan White. He deserved it, no doubt about it. He'd been there for a long time. He had done more of the operational stuff than just running cars. I was just a guy that worked hard and ran cars. And for me, I was like, I understand, but it sucks. I work so hard. You could see that I would work hard in this as well. Whatever. Eventually, I got past it. No big deal. Me and him were friends. I'm actually still friends with him. So if you're listening to this, what's up? Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
He's a pilot now, so good for him. And so I remember there was a night where I had an issue with a manager, basically. A managerial decision that I shouldn't say it kind of affected me, but it affected a lot of people. I just didn't really think yes, rules are important. I'm a big believer in rules, but some things can be bent. I don't want to say completely broken, but things should be bent for
morals.
Yeah. I mean, some things are just look, you don't deserve this, whatever. I'm going to push it in this direction. I mean, that's my managerial decision. You don't get this, you're going to get this, and this is why. And it should be fair.
Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Yeah. So something happened, and I was pissed about it for 2 weeks. And one of my managers came up and was like, come talk to me. So we go talk out on the side, out on the bricks. We just called it the bricks. So it was just the valet portion when you drive up. And she just pulled me off to the side and we're talking. And I remember saying something she was like, what's up? You've been pissed for a while. What's going on? What happened? And I remember telling him, you will never put your neck out. You guys, not just you, you guys will never put your neck out for us. And I don't agree with it. And I put my 2 weeks in pretty much that day. And somewhere along this time, I remember thinking I want to learn how to cook. Yeah. Something I kind of always wanted to do. And even in high school, my dad and my brother, I remember being in the car with them. And they're like, what do you want to do? You're going to have to figure out what you want to do. You're going to be a professional baseball player, but the fallback plan, what is it? I'm I don't know. Maybe I want to go to culinary school. Maybe I want to put a food truck. And they were like, you know how expensive a food truck is? It's $100,000 to even get started. You don't have that kind of money, blah, blah, blah. And they totally shit on it, really hardcore. And it's okay. It was fine. I didn't really think much of it at the time. I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. Maybe I also want to be a teacher. So maybe I'll do that. So that was fine. But then at this point in my life, I was like, I want to learn how to cook. So like the next day after I put my 2 weeks in, I just like went around. I had never been in hospitality my entire life. And just like started applying everywhere. I went to Howley's. I started at like one start of Clematis, went to the other side of Clematis, like putting my resume out for anybody. I was like, I want to be a line cook. Like I want to start at the bottom, teach me how to be a prep cook. Like I'll do whatever. I'll wash dishes, just let me get my foot in the door. And Bradley's, OJ, we had both worked for her. OJ
He hired me as well.
Yeah. So I'm sitting down with him because they're looking for people. And he's like, I don't need any of that, but I need a food runner. And if you food run, I'll teach you whatever. And he probably thought that I was never going to ask him to teach me how to cook, but I did. So I was a food runner for a while, and I learned how to do all that.
At Bradley, give me time ranges. So like what years is this? 2017, 16?
I think it was 2015, 2016.
Okay, so you were at Bradley's at this point too.
I think I'm at Kachina at this point.
Oh, so you were already...
I got hired at Bradley's like 2013.
I had not known Pete yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't meet till 123 was born.
So you basically missed each other. You were out, he was in.
I was out by then because we didn't work at Bradley's together.
Yeah, didn't work together.
But shout out to OJ. That's dad.
Can we do timeout? Can I get another glass of wine?
Yeah, totally. Timeout.
This is good. What is this?
Wine.
It's good.
Pinot Noir.
I like it.
Fuck, boy. This one's going to be long.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of our episode with Ryan Cota. We're going to be releasing part 2 on Friday, so keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit cute with like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Rather flip a boat, but nigga, I still serve a zip. I remember being broken, I was down bad on my dick. And she used to call me Ollie, now lil' shawty let me hit. Wait, well maybe it's just Bully, got a nigga confident. Remember all them dreams that I had when I was legit. They're like, yeah, I love the streets, but I'm still gon' go legit. Cause you know I need that German with that brand new fucking tip. Fell in love with them foreigns, watching a nigga Euro step. Got me feeling like I'm Harden, cause I'm plugged in with the ref. That like if you touch me wrong, you might get hit with this tech. Let them birds fly like a nigga Carson West. And I swear they broke my heart when I seen them. But that shit, it made me strong, now I'm right back on my best. Like bitches, leave me alone, why I get linked on this tech. Like little bitches, leave me alone, unless you gonna drop that neck. Like little bitches, leave me alone, unless you talking about a check. Boy, deuces out of soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Boy, deuces out of soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Yeah.